I loved your story about Roan because I heard horror stories about Roan, and he was like a father figure, really was. He's the only guy. I got one. Okay, I got one story. Okay, all right. This was how it was. This was 2 weeks before we got hit, and our team leader left, so they brought an assistant team leader in, and he was a white soft. He was a regular team guy. He was a vanilla. He was from Team 8, I think it was, but he was a tool, just a tool. And I was at that time. I was pretty salty. I'd been contracting for 10 years at that point. Been through, and I knew I wasn't going to get fired. Yeah, fuck you. You guys are going to fire me. Well, I remember Boone. We were doing this room clearing, and I went through I went through Dieter's training. I went through some CQD stuff. I mean, you know some of that stuff, and I thought some of it was, but I'm not a disciple of it. This guy was a CQD instructor. He worked for Dwayne when he wasn't contracting. And so we were doing some room clearing practice just because he thought it was cool. I don't know. We're all like, fucking dude, come on, really? I just want to watch my porn in peace. Just leave me alone. But it's like, no, let's go do some training today. All right, fuck. All right. He just got in. So he's basically like this amped up lieutenant that just came in. You got all these salty sergeants around that just want to be left alone. We just want to go home. We're done with this tour. We all extended longer to stay for them. And we weren't doing the high gun stuff that he wanted us to do. And he looked at Boone, and I've been with Boone forever. Boone's a state platoon sniper. We went through Blackwater's training first class at Blackwater. So I've known Boone for 10 years. He looks at Boone. He goes, why aren't you doing this high gun stuff? He goes, because I don't like it. We don't care. I don't care if he does it or not. As a team, he's like, well, you need to get up there. He goes, no, I'm not going to do it. And I'm standing next to Boone. And I'm getting fired up for Boone. And I remember looking at him, and he goes, if you don't do it, the ATL, the assistant team leader that came in from Tripoli, he looks at Boone. He goes, if you don't do this, I'm going to write you up and I'm going to give you a bad email. Boone says, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, we don't care. So it doesn't matter. So we basically cut training right there. All of us were like, done training. Rowan basically kiboshed it. He's like, okay, guys, let's just go play Call of Duty. We'll be done with training for the day. Like, okay, that's what we wanted anyway. I wouldn't let it go, man. I was hothead. I followed this guy over. I'm like, you motherfucker. It's like, you don't talk to fucking this guy like that. You just got here. He's been doing this shit for 10 years. I said, I've been with him in Baghdad and Kabul. He was with me in Kandahar. I said, you leave him the fuck alone. All right. So, and I looked at him, and Roan, I didn't know was right there. And I wasn't going to punch the guy. Maybe it looked like it was, the bravado. Let's get in this fight. Yeah. I was like, Jim was like, I'm going to write you up. I said, fuck you. You can write me up. I've already been written up once because I fell asleep during the ambassador's meeting. I did do that. And I was like, fuck you, dude. And this is Roan. This is how Roan was. He comes right behind me and he just puts his arm around me and goes, dude, let it go. Just come back. And that's how I remember Roan. It's him just didn't have to say a word. It was just, I heard his voice, and he's the voice of reason. It's like Jiminy Cricket going, you don't need to do this. This is a waste of time. Your porn's waiting for you. Get back to your room. He puts his arm around me and he says, dude, just let it go. I'll deal with this. And I walked back to my room, and I still was stewing. And I actually, 30 minutes later, I walked into his room. I actually sat down. I'm like, man, I'm getting angry. I can't let this go. He's like, man, you've just been here too long. You need to go home. He goes, don't you worry about it. I'll handle. And I know the guy's name, but I'm not going to say it because just not going to, because I'll handle this. You just get ready to go home and see your family and be with your new daughter. I just had a daughter when we were in Libya. And it was me, because what brought it is just, it reminded me, because whenever somebody said Roan was the devil, all I remember was that voice of reason keeping everybody on point, not letting us get off kilter, which that would have just thrown us all off kilter. And it's like, all right, bunch of cats, let me herd you back on here, get you guys back focused. And luckily for us, that team leader left before the attack, and we had our new team leader come in, but he was scared shitless, so he didn't do anything that night anyway, which was good. He needed to stay on. But it just reminded me. So I appreciate it. And long story short, I appreciate your relationship to Rome, because whenever I hear those stories, I can see them, but I still see, like you said, he fucked you in the beginning, but then he was fantastic. That's what I remember. And he was. Well,
I think the mark of any real badass is that switch, right? And he had it, you could see him turn it on, and almost sometimes I think he was almost like being a character, you know what I mean? Like it was a separate personality, he would turn on that instructor mode, and next thing you know, he's got students painting his fucking garage, But he was a caring dude, and he was definitely a badass. I appreciate hearing that stuff too. Just your interactions with him. It sounds like you knew him really well.
We just knew each other from that deployment. We'd been together at that point him and I had been together for 2.5 months at that point. We'd been he was running around during the firefights back at our place. We all had been injured in some aspect, not major, but cuts. I'd fallen off a wall. I had fallen off a wall already with slice. And I do remember before the mortars hit, he's like, is everybody okay? I'm going to come check on everybody. Cause he was our Delta at the time. Yep. And he's running around and I remember during the lulls, while all of us would sit back and I'd eat a Snickers and sit in my lawn chair and drink my water. He was running around making sure everybody was hydrated, making sure everybody was bandaged up. He goes, Tanto, you okay? He said, I know you fell off that wall. I was like, yeah, buddy, I'm okay, but I'm sliced up. And I said, I'm good though. He's up in 10 seconds with saline, rinsing it out. He bandaged it up, all good. I'm like, Ron, I said I was good. He's like, dude, no. Well, I got you, man. I got you. And then, of course, he went back up on building C but when Bub came in and the mortars hit, but it just was him, man. It was like, fucking, we're all resting and he's still out here working. He's putting in fucking work and he had to be tired as shit because I was fucking smoked. And, but yeah, bro, it reminds, a lot of respect for you because I know you were good at your job just by the people that put you through the training. And if he was one of them, fuck yeah. And again, you're a super genius. We'll keep beating that one up. So, but,
shit.
Yeah. But yeah,
thanks, man.
Yeah. Thanks, Justin.